Hello, just carrying this message on. Originally, I'd written that message from the heart. I searched through scripture, and as I say, the amount of times I seen the heart was missing for the people, for Yashrael, for them turning away, they turned to idols, they sacrificed their children, they drank blood, they did what the nations were doing. And Abba acted out his judgment after warning and warning and warning. We just didn't come to these decisions as we think about it, because we've only got a specific chapters. We've got chapters and books to read when it's actually a decision of sin and sin and sin. And we sit in this world right now and look across the earth. Why do the nations rage against Yahweh's ways and his Messiah, his anointed? I've been struggling as well. Who's your brother and sister? And it comes to me, those who's doing the will of Abba is my brother and sister. As Yahusha says, my brothers and sister, my mother, and he's making that example. Those who's doing the will of the Father's all through scripture. It's not just one or two things as well. And I pray and hope we all make that. We do it, myself included. This has been a path, and I've been trying to test it, and it's still not finished yet. I've been foolish, ignorant. I'm fighting to understand what it means to be attached to this world and separate myself, Kodeshim, set apart. To have right ruling in my heart and to be yoked to Al Hayim, to be yoked to my Messiah, Yahusha. Matthew 11:28-30. Come to me, all you who labour and are burdened, and I shall give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me his teachings, his yoke. For I am meek and humble in heart, and you shall find your rest for your beings. For my yoke is gentle and my burden is light. I put pressure on myself in this walk to get it all right, to get it all perfect. And I was missing the mark. I was no listening. I wasn't reading enough as well. When I spoke, and that's why I've deleted all the videos I did before. Know that I'm trying to hide anything. Abba knows that I will be judged for every idle word I've used and everything I've done. But because I was not ready, I was still on the milk. And even now I'm still moving from milk to meat in certain aspects, because there's deeper meanings to certain stuff. As you'll know that the more you read. You don't stop learning in scripture. But sometimes we get stagnant. Sometimes we listen to man, and see when I'm speaking, I'm asking you to go and search the word yourself. Don't believe my words. Like, as in, the Messiah's words are the ones we have to believe, and go and search them. But people in this work say this walk, Paul taught basically lawlessness. He didn't teach what the Messiah taught. So I'll just read these verses quickly, and you can say now, Yehochanan, John 15:1-5. I am the true vine, and my Father is the gardener. Every branch in me that bears no fruit he takes away, and every branch that bears fruit he prunes, so that it bears more fruit. You are already clean because of the word which I have spoken to you. Abide in me and I in you, as a branch is unable to bear fruit for itself unless it remains in the vine. So neither you unless you remain in me. I am the vine, you are the Natsarim. Search Natsarim, branches, I am the branches, your scriptures will say. Natsarim, search for them in history, they were there. He who remains in me and I in him bears much fruit. This was before Christians and before the Antioch. Then 9, as the Father has loved me, I have also loved you. Remain in my love. If you guard my commands, you shall remain in my love, even as I have guarded my Father's commands and remain in his love. The commandments are spoken about are important, and I'll read scripture. Search all scripture. Matthew 18, and Yahusha came up and spoke to them, saying, all authority has been given to me on the heaven and on the earth. Therefore go and make Talmudim of all the Goyim, the nations, immersing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Ruach HaKodesh, teaching them to guard all that I have commanded you. And see, I am with you until the end of the age. Amen. How do you know what the Father's name is when they've taken it out 6,823 times and changed it with Lord? Then you'll have people saying he has many names. No, didn't he? He gave too specific. He gave the full description, kinda, in Exodus 3:14. Achaya, Asha, Achaya, I am who I am. It's translated as in some translations. and then he sits and tells them, I am, no, Yahweh your Elohim, or Yod He Uahe. W was, it's not, it's W, it's two U's, it's W. It wasn't part of the Hebrew language back then, the Palo Hebrew, no the Hebrew you've got today. And search these things, don't believe my word, truly search and ask Abba to help you. Right, 22:36, Matthew. Teacher, which is the great command in the Torah? The law, it was probably saying your English translation. And Yahusha says to him, you shall love Yahweh your Elohim with all your heart, and with all your being, and with all your mind. This is the first and greatest command, and the second is like it. You shall love your neighbour as yourself. On these two commands hang all the Torah and the prophets. Now we've just read in Matthew, teach them to guard all that I have commanded you, in verse 28 at the end after Messiah has risen. All he has commanded them. No, he went to the stake and the commandments then changed, the doctrine changed, the teachings changed. No, teach them all that I have commanded you. Now I'm only going through a couple here. Verse 23:1 this is when he goes and rebukes and chastises the Pharisees. Then Yahusha spoke to the throngs and to his Talmudim, saying, the scribes and the Pharisees sit on the seat of Moshe. Therefore whatever they say to you, guard and do, but do not according to their works, for they say and do not do. For they bind heavy burdens, hard to bear, and lay on them men's shoulders, but with their finger they do not wish to move them. They were to go and listen to what was being read out of Moshe and do as they were talking, but no do as they do in their actions, because they were hypocrites and they bound heavy burdens. They added to it, and this is actually in Judaism today in their Talmuds. For instance, the Sabbath has got something like 100 plus laws. Now, Adon Yahusha, Rabbi Yahusha, it never says, the Messiah never says the Sabbath is done away with. He challenged them, is it good to do good? Is it to heal on the Sabbath? And they were all going nuts about it. They were all against him because he was healing on the Sabbath. He never says the Sabbath was done away. That's no there in the commandments. But people will say it has, it's been fulfilled. Well, we just sat and told you at the end of Matthew, do what I have commanded you, teach them all, and also name the Father, the Son, the Ruach HaKodesh. Look into, even in the Jewish Encyclopedia, again I think I've spoke about this, it tells you they banned the Father's name. They made it a salvation issue to say it. They changed the Father's name, breaking the third commandment. The third commandment has deeper meaning in carrying the Father's authority, his name, how we walk. But who gave anybody the right to stop his name being called upon? And he doesn't have many names. He had one name, he gave it, and then it's been translated into many names and many things. But I pray you search it. Even as I say, the popes and that admitted this, the bishops in 2008 in one of the conferences they had. You can search that. As I say, I'll put that in the link. I'll try and find it and get it in the link. Romans I've read through as well there. I read through Romans and I've only read it again to chapter 9 and see people taking, this is what I mean, you can take verses out and make a doctrine of what you want, the doctrine of grace. We don't need to do anything, we're saved just by confessing the name. Well, even when we go to an English translation, a name, a translation, but let's not get into that, and let's just say, what does the whole message say? Not just in one verse or one chapter. We're continually told those who keep the testimony of Yahusha the Messiah and keep the commandments, that's who the dragon comes after. That's his enemy. No people, it's just I'm saved under grace and that's it. Without the deeper meaning of what that favour is and how we walk. It's all through his teaching, not just one verse. And this is, don't even believe me, search all the scriptures, man. Romans 2 is it? 14 to 15. For when the nations who do not have the Torah by nature do what is in the Torah, although they're not having the Torah, the law, as it will be in your translations, are Torah unto themselves, who show the works of the Torah written in their hearts, their conscience also bearing witness, and between themselves their thoughts accusing and excusing themselves. We've no in there as in, see that speaks about the people who hadn't had the teachings. That speaks about people who've got utmost love in their heart, does it no? Their love to actually put others before, but they haven't been taught Abba's ways. We are taught them, the commandments are there. We are meant to be followers of Yahweh, the Father, through Yahusha, our Messiah. It's his doctrine and no Yahusha. Yahusha tells us that. His commands